Hi, welcome to your astrology forecast for May 7th to May 13th, 2015. On May 7th, the moon moves into Capricorn, and so responsibilities could crop up in the home on this day, and you may be feeling a bit more serious and ready to focus and get things done. And if you end up procrastinating or putting things off, you may feel a weight of responsibility on you on this day. Venus also moves into Cancer on this day, so you may feel like making your home more beautiful and maybe focusing on your family relationships and bringing harmony into your family relationships. And they're actually going to be opposing as well. So there's definitely an indication that you could be doing things around the home, especially things that can help to make it more beautiful, but it also could make it slightly more of like kind of a pain in the butt because they're in opposition. So the moon in Capricorn could make it like more of a weighty thing, and Venus in Cancer makes you like kind of inspired by the idea of you really making your home more beautiful, but you know, there is that tension there. Also, you could put more emotion into your career on this day and more of what you value as well. But this could also bring up tensions as well because maybe you're being overly emotional in your work to where, it causes an issue. So, yeah, just trying to find a nice balance there between focus and inspiration and really putting um, more beauty into those two areas of your life. And then on May 8th, the moon conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. So this will help you to reveal deeper emotions and deeper feelings about what you really want to do with your career. And so digging deeper within yourself to understand what you really are looking to do in the world. Like, what is your grander goal? What is your grander goal in the whole scheme of your career? So, Pluto will maybe have you looking deeper at that and how you feel about that. And then on May 9th, Mercury in Gemini squares Neptune in Pisces. So this is great for bringing very imaginative and creative ideas and writing them down, maybe, or conversations could even be a lot more imaginative or whimsical or even somewhat nonsensical and confusing because you may be on a more intuitive plane on this day, but um, to a degree, like you will expect people to maybe understand what you're saying or read your mind to a degree, or maybe you're kind of speaking in circles and maybe some of what you're saying is so abstract that maybe people will get confused by what you're saying. But it's very awesome for doing things that are very abstract and symbolic and creative and imaginative and of like another kind of realm, especially like a fantasy realm or something of that nature. And then the moon moves into Aquarius, so this can be great for hanging out with friends, nurturing your friendships, and maybe doing something in a group setting. It's also awesome for paying attention or focusing on your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Any inspirations that come to you can be awesome to like nurture. And you may be feeling about or feeling into how you feel about your situation in the whole grand scheme of humanity and what your main objectives are in terms of your place in society or in your community or even in your groups of friends. It's also great for getting more insight into your emotions as well. And you can also gain more insight through hanging out with a group of people or with friends. And then the moon in Aquarius sextiles Saturn in Sagittarius, and they both in conjunct Venus in Cancer, creating a yod. So the moon in Aquarius could be trying to get you to shake up your routine and your systems and some of your responsibilities. Maybe you've been kind of getting a little stagnant and dragged down by your responsibilities. So it's kind of time to infuse new life into them. And then with them in conjunct Venus and Cancer, Venus in Cancer is trying to get you to really feel more in harmony with your family and with your home, and also with your emotions and your values. So it could be that we need to shake up something within those structures that we have in place in our homes, or maybe even just rearrange the home or do something of that nature. Or, yeah, like just kind of shake up the dynamics of those things. And then on May 10th, the moon in Aquarius and Mercury in Gemini create a kite with the north node in Libra and the south node in Aries. So basically, there's a grand trine being formed between the moon in Aquarius, Mercury in Gemini, and the north node in Libra. And with the south node in Aries opposing that, it creates the kite. So there's two sextiles as well, with the moon and Mercury sextiling the south node in Aries. So basically, what I interpret this as is that we can have some very insightful conversations that can help us to make new relations with people, connect with other people easier, and maybe make new friends or find a new group to hang out with, or even form some sort of partnership or alliance with someone. And it could also be that it's romantic in nature, or it could just be platonic, or it could even be business related potentially. But it's also a sense of being able to really be yourself and provide a piece of a puzzle. So there's going to be a nice harmony there, and potential for very revolutionary or evolutionary conversations to take place that can help you kind of get to a new level of sorts. And then on May 11th, the moon in Aquarius squares Sun in Taurus, which is a last quarter moon. So the moon in Aquarius, of course, wants us to connect with people and groups and focus on our hopes, wishes, and dreams and all of that stuff, and gain new insights into what those things are about and how you're feeling about those things and that whole thing. But the Sun in Taurus has a tendency to want to stay in its patterns and routines, and it might not feel that comfortable in these situations. There could also be money issues that crop up as well, revolving around these things. That could create tensions as well. So the moon in Aquarius is trying to get you to kind of shake things up a bit and do something kind of out of the ordinary and unexpected, so that you can really, make new friends or meet new people or focus on your dreams more. So yeah, and then the Sun in Taurus sextiles Chiron and Pisces, and I've definitely talked about this in the last video, but also there could be some wounds that come up around how you are feeling about yourself. Like, well, I think I've already mentioned that as well, but it could be that there's maybe some egotistical things that come up with the Sun involved. And so Chiron and Pisces is really just bringing up these things so that you can let go of any of those ego tendencies and dissolve away those things and so that you can really get in touch with your true self, so that you can really feel very grounded and in alignment with what you value. And then Mars moves into Gemini, which could have you speaking in blunt ways and impulsive ways. But with Gemini, I think the way that it typically deals with confrontation is kind of in a roundabout kind of manner. Like maybe it'll kind of start to bring up some issues and maybe say it in a way that will be like somewhat impulsive, or in a way where you kind of wish you didn't say so much. But then it'll go dance around it in a way where it'll try to explain everything that it really means, and it'll, like, just keep on talking basically. But it ultimately can be a way where you can explain things in such a way where you can bring two different ideas into a more middle ground, and just being mindful of how you're speaking and not allowing yourself to just say too much without a filter, I guess. And then the moon moves into Pisces, so this, of course, will put us into a more dreamy kind of mood and a more imaginative kind of mood, and we may be fantasizing a lot more on this day. And it's important to kind of stay grounded when the moon's in Pisces, but it's also great to kind of drift off into that fantasy land. And even paying attention to your dreams can be really interesting, and can help you kind of dig deeper into how you've been feeling lately. And you can get more in touch with your intuition and kind of sense what's going on with other people as well, because your empathic abilities will be heightened, and generally you will kind of just be on another wavelength where you can understand things at a deeper level, especially at a deeper emotional kind of level. And then on May 12th, Mars in Gemini opposes Saturn in Sagittarius, and they both square the moon in Pisces, creating a T-square. So generally, I feel like there's been a lot more information being, coming into play. New information coming in. Mars and Gemini will be bringing a lot more information and more stimulation, and it is important to exercise during these times as well, so that you can kind of process a little easier and kind of get into your body a little more too, because you might be in your head a lot more with all these Gemini energies. With it opposing Saturn in Sagittarius wants to move slower and kind of assimilate this information in a way that is very slow, steady, systematic, and methodical. And there's also this tension between wanting to, move fast and, just understand everything quickly, or maybe even just dive right into situations more. And Saturn is kind of wanting you to maybe create more of a plan around that. Whether that has to do with education or just classes, or going into like situations where you're going to learn more, like traveling or stuff like that, where you're kind of immersing yourself in a new environment or in like a new culture. So there's like maybe even a tendency towards like defensiveness about like that stuff as well, because Mars can kind of cause defensiveness and Saturn can cause rigidity. So it's kind of important to not allow like your preconceived notions to dominate the situations either. With the moon in Pisces involved, it may not be that great of an idea to have a debate or an argument, because with the moon in Pisces, there's a lot of abstract kind of feelings going on, where maybe there's new awarenesses coming about and kind of new sort of information to take in, and you just haven't fully formed exactly what it is you believe in, or what it is you really are trying to say, or what it is what your fully formed thought is. And so it just might be a better idea to kind of maybe even meditate or allow information to be processed so that you can kind of get a better understanding within yourself before you try to explain it to somebody else, or that sort of thing. Okay, and then the moon conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. And this also is great for tuning into your intuition and feeling a sense of unity with the world. You might feel more at one with the world and more in tune with your intuition and in tune with the people around you. And music might be especially enjoyable, and poetry and art and things that are very creative and imaginative and whimsical and maybe even symbolic and revolving around like fantasy worlds and stuff like that. And then the moon in Pisces sextiles Pluto and Capricorn, and they both in conjunct Jupiter in Leo, creating a yod. So this is helping you to actually dig deeper into what is happening under the surface and maybe understanding some deeper gifts that you haven't been really noticing lately. And maybe you can utilize some of these gifts within your career. With them both in conjunct Jupiter and Leo, it's wanting you to express these gifts and expand upon them and expand them out into the world and be able to utilize them in such a way that creates more joy and fun for others. And then on May 13th, the moon conjuncts Chiron in Pisces, and this can bring up some old feelings, and there's, a sense of just kind of dissolving some feelings away, and they might be just very unconscious, and they just might pop up here and there on this day, but you'll be able to kind of resolve them relatively easily. And then the moon moves into Aries, also on May 13th. And so it's important not to be too reactive to these emotions. And it might be a nice idea to focus on yourself a little more on this day and, make sure that you are taking care of yourself and even exercise a bit and maybe even start something new as well. Okay, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share if you did. And I will talk to you soon. Have an awesome week.